topic. So an estimated 10% of men on dating apps are being pursued by the overwhelming majority of women who are on these dating apps, most of whom, I would argue, are trying to date well above what their looks, prospects, and personalities warrant. So this is why I do think, and why I tend to push back on this rating thing. And it's not to be mean, but it's actually to guide women. And here's why. And you might think, oh, Brian, blah, 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 you want to hate women. No. What I see happening is if women are so gassed up on if they have a false self-assessment of their own physical appearance, and just trying to think the best way to phrase this. If a woman has a false self-assessment of her own physical appearance and she's super gassed up, then she's going to, if she thinks she's a 10, then she's going to start curving guys who are actually on her level, and she's going to think she deserves or is entitled to a certain caliber of man that's never going to give her a commitment, that's never going to give her a ring, that's never going to give her a long-term relationship. So what you have happening is typically there's a percentage of men that are basically monopolizing a large, this isn't playing out in all relationship dynamics, but you have a small percentage of men that have basically multiple girlfriends. At the same time, you're never going to get commitment. You're going to be in the perpetual situationships. You're going to jump from dick to dick to dick. And here's the thing, men will gladly sleep, like say a guy's a 10, right? And I know you guys kind of object to these rank order things, but a guy who's a 10 will sleep with a girl who's a 6. He's never going to commit to her, but he'll keep her around for sex. So as a woman, it's very important to have a reasonable and accurate self-assessment of your own physical attractiveness and your value in the dating marketplace. Otherwise, you're just gonna keep getting fucked by these dudes who have no interest in long-term commitment. Meanwhile, the guys who are actually on your level, who are prepared to give you monogamous relationships, who will be dutiful and good boyfriends, you don't actually, even though they're on your level, they're on your, whether it's socioeconomic status, whether it's physical appearance, you're gonna curve the dudes who, again, are on your level. You'd think you're settling for them, and if you do end up with them, you're gonna treat them like shit because you think you're settling, you think you're above them, you think they're below you. And that's the big thing I see in the dating marketplace. A lot of these chicks are chasing after these top-tier dudes. These top-tier dudes just want pussy. They ain't ever gonna give you commitment. And so if you're gassed up and think you're hot shit, but you're not, here's the thing. A guy will sleep with, here's the difference between men and women. In order for women to sleep with a guy, that guy needs to be at least physically attractive enough for you to be in a relationship with him. And women will project that onto men. You'll think, well, if he's sleeping with me, he must be considering me, he must think I'm attractive enough to be in a relationship. But just on the physical attractiveness metric alone, a guy will sleep with you, but just on that sole thing, he'll keep you around for sex, but he will never give you commitment. And that's a big difference. So a dude who's really attractive, he'll fuck a girl who's less attractive than him, but he'll never give her a relationship.
Can I comment?
Sure.
So I think when it comes to feminism, that's a point that I do put in your favor, where it's very much a turnoff when it's like women are basically saying like, oh, I'm beautiful, I'm the standard, I'm a 10. But then when they look at men, where it's like they might be slightly balding, they might be a little bit chubby or whatever, they then discard him and treat him like some sort of parasite or whatever. So on that point, it's like, once again, I harken back to the fact that you can't just value a man, number one, for his physical appearance, and also to have, which brings me to my next point, this society which basically primes women to hate men. Basically every facet of society is designed to make us think, like for example Gaston from Beauty and the Beast. Did you watch that one video where it's like, you know, Gaston is actually the good guy and that, you know, the Beast was actually the bad guy because the Beast was like all of these emotional toxic.
I haven't seen it, but I know Beauty and the Beast, yes.
So Gaston basically is the type of man which is strong, bold, he's proposing to Belle, he wants to give her the world, but he's considered the bad guy in the movie, and this is something little girls watch. So it's like from the beginning of womanhood, you're basically denigrating men in every facet of academia, mainstream media. So when a woman sees a man with good qualities, there's something in her brain that automatically associates that person with villainous intent.
So that's a very good point.
I just wanted to come back to what Brian said, because he actually said the most valid thing that I've heard him say so far. Because what he's basically saying is that, and it kind of shows, like I feel like it's kind of shown through this podcast a little bit lately, but if you're not self-aware of how you're perceived to other people, then you're going to get used and ran over.
I feel like that kind of leads into whichever one of you was saying you get rejected quite a bit.
Miss Girl.
It's it kind of ties into the fact that you think you're rejecting these men that are in your league maybe because you think you deserve or are going to be
Something specific.
in a higher bracket, when in all reality these men that are coming to you and you're rejecting, those are the type of men that are.
If I can address that, you mentioned like out of someone's league, right?
Yeah.
So here's the difference. If a guy who's like in a lower league tries to shoot his shot at like a more attractive woman, she's not going to look at him and be like, well, I can get easy sex from him. No, like it's an instant rejection, whereas women get rejected on the back end. You get rejected after guys fucked you a couple times or just once. So like women can like try to get with, like we all want to get the best we can get, right? The difference is men typically can't get anything. They can't get anything from a girl who's outside of his league, but a girl can get sex from a guy who's outside of her league, and that's where women get into trouble. And I don't like to see it. I don't like to see women getting played and like getting used by, like passed around by these dudes. And look, I do put some onus on men. Like I don't think dudes, me personally, I'm not interested in just running through a bunch of chicks. I much rather have a continuity with a girl. If I want to sleep with the girl, I want to keep seeing her. I'm not interested in a one-night stand. But like a lot of men who are able to sleep with a lot of women don't move like that.
Yeah.
So
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And as somebody who is like related to one of the guys that, preys upon women like you, can I just say that having very low self-esteem and also having way too high self-esteem are like the two that go together. Can I just say that? Like if you hate yourself, like, oh my gosh, I don't care, like I'll take whoever, I just want to be loved, you're also gonna, he's coming for you. But if you're also like, I'm the best person in the world, I love myself so much, like you can't do anything to make me think otherwise, he's also coming for you, and you're both gonna get mistreated. So it's like, and honestly, I think when you have that higher inflated ego, it's even worse, right? Because no man's gonna come in like if you have a low self-esteem.
Look still, because I mean,
we're talking about everything, but also just the way that you present yourself, like just verbally saying, "Oh my gosh," like I guess like having that inflated ego. Okay.
Yeah.
It's.
But I mean,
men like him are looking for you, and that's what they look for. They look for low self-esteem or extremely high self-esteem, because a lot of the times extremely high self-esteem is just a big mask, because you have very low self-esteem.